I have a quadruple or a quintuple Virgo stellium to start with.
Okay.
So wicked type A, my desk, but I have this whole 3-5 bonds made and broken with the whole concept and idea of cleaning, being a non-sacral person. Sometimes it's messy, and it's a very 3-5 thing. It's like sometimes I'll be all in, clean up my whole plate. Maybe it's the reflector inconsistency. I don't know, but it's really 3-5y with the bonds made and broken with that messy, clean vibe.
No, I feel that too. I feel like actually very recently I've gone through this thing where I've been trying to pressure myself to prioritize cleaning my space as like the number one thing, or else I'm not doing it correctly. And then something just hit me the other day where it's like, you get a little untidy because you're a creative, because sometimes in that untidiness, the creative juices flow better.
Yeah.
And so I've been trying to, with that whole perfectionist versus like embracing the messiness dichotomy, I've been trying to embrace the messiness over being a perfectionist, because I realize that's where my power is. And it's okay if other people don't see that.
Yeah.
So I'll add to that. I can totally relate to that. I, in fact, actually came up with a so-called persona. I call myself the vital perfectionist because it literally like describes me. I just am like that high standard type of person, but I do it in a way that really supports being an oversatisfaction for life. But I have that drive for and strive for the highest of excellence, but know that, there's pitfalls. You're going to make mistakes. It's not going to be perfect the first time around, but I live by practice makes perfect, right? And so it's really a balance in taking that healthy, like sometimes done is better than perfect kind of attitude, and to just keep moving forward. And you fail fast, you also are able to succeed that much faster. When you learn that, hey, this ain't working, take a break, sometimes just going and having some fun and surrendering to the thought process or whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, it just comes to you that much more faster. It's all about having fun along the way and being able to laugh at yourself.
Definitely. I tend to find it as like I learn all the right ways of doing things by bumping into all the ways not to do it. Like I will find the perfect way to do something because I will find every wrong way to not go along the process.
Yeah. It's torture sometimes watching people going in to do something that we know is not going to work. And it's like, you want to say, you know what I mean? You really, if you're not invited or recognized to say something, it's like, oh my God.
Dying. You just got to look away.
Yeah.
Cool. So the next one we have up is relatable and lovable. And after that, we have leads change.
Oh, that's definitely me.
Yeah.
I'm the disruptor. I am always the person who has something to say or questions to ask. I like to say that in any kind of completed project, if you hand it over to me, I will make Swiss cheese out of it, because I'll be like, well, what about this? And what about that? And people either in my career lifetime has either loved me or hated me for it, because I will be like, yeah, but, or why this or why that? My incarnation crosses all around the idea of planning and, family. So I just am naturally able to see the big picture, the big end goal, and I am very detail orientated. So when somebody hands me something, I can analyze it and quickly go, but this, and that, and the other thing. And so sometimes it's a little harsh because I don't know how to sugarcoat it. So I like to think of myself as a disruptor, and some people embrace it and other people shy away from it, but that's okay because not everybody's meant for you.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the fifth line projection thing is like, we're going to be projected on no matter what. Like, that's just as is. So then I've come to find like, okay, what are the projections that people are putting on me? Can I satisfy them or not? Like, if they're the right people with the right projections, like we magic. But like, if it's the wrong people, it's going to be a weird time, and like learning that discernment.
Yes, very much so.
Did you ever hear about navigating projections? And Ra talks about this, and he talks about 3-5 specifically. When we agree to incorrect projections, it usually costs us money because it's a very third line material plane. And what we have when we accept something in the Maya to do something and we don't deliver, we either reputation, but it's almost always money, is the way he framed it. And I can say that's pretty true for me anyway. It's been an experience over the years for sure. I'm also a Design Sun 45, so I have that as the material cross. So I really noticed that part of it for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say for leading change, that one, I have that one too, and that definitely resonates because I was saying earlier, like every role I've had, I've had to change it because there's always been resistance with changing things or innovating or trying something new. Because so many of at least the people that I've worked with, and this is before, entrepreneurship and my business, I felt like they were very stuck in their old ways of doing things. And so they didn't want to innovate because it just felt so difficult. And for me,
Yes.
this is the only way to go. Like there's no other way to go. And so for me, I knew I had to leave that role or that environment because it was at the same time, it was also like really not allowing me to grow as well and evolve. So yeah, that definitely resonates.
That's a good story.
It is.
The next one we have up is Vicarious Living, of people living vicariously through us as 3-5s.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just funny how this is like what human design does to me. It's like you'll say a bunch of things and I'm like, oh yeah, like I didn't know that was like a grouping of characteristics that other people had too, and that's like one thing that I love about it so much is I'm like, we all have this together, but like everything that we've said so far, I'm like, yes, I experience all of this.
You want another one? Has anybody here ever just like decided out of the clear blue sky to quit a job and walk out that day and just say, bye, I'm done?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did that for a
Never.
president job. Dropped keys on the desk and walked out. I'll bet every one of you have done something exactly like that.
I mean, I'm a splenic authority, so once the decision's made, it's like, yeah, I'm not going back.
Yeah. I mean, 3-5s, we can be pretty severe sometimes when we cut people out. I mean, exes, gone.
Oh my God.
Just gone. I mean, and it's a vibe. It's a frequency. It's just who we are.
I used to feel really guilty about that though. Like,
right?
and really feeling like I had to bring people with me and nurture relationships and not really realize like, oh, there's people that are in your life for seasons and it's okay to let them go. And so that was something I've had a really hard time with until I started to really understand my 3-5 profile and like, oh, that's very normal, right? Like it's normal to have all these different friends and groups of friends and like just grow and evolve and like know that it's just a season that I'm going through, that I'm work with these people and I'm connected to these people. So I know for me, that was really difficult for a really long time.
Yeah, no, I could definitely relate to that, especially because you kind of started that by saying like you would feel a little guilty about that. And kind of going off of what Roger said about how us 3-5s can be intense sometimes. It's like I used to feel guilty for being so intense rather than recognizing that they're just not for my intensity anymore. Mm-hmm. And so I like putting it on myself rather than like just understanding that is life. There are seasons and there are times when people will need that energy from you and it's mutually beneficial. And there are other times when whatever energy they have and whatever energy you have might go against each other. And to learn, again, as you're learning that that's your human design, to recognize that there's nothing wrong with you. You are intense because that is how you are designed to be. And it is exactly who you're supposed to be.
Yeah. Yes. That's it. We are who we are. And
so I just want to say something real quick, funny, that I wanted to say after Taz just said that is last year I got married, and I had my best friend who's also a manifestor actually, but she doesn't really follow human design like that. And she was my officiant, and so she did a little speech before about like the couple and myself, and she described me as intense. And I just thought that was so funny. Like when the way she described me, I'm like, oh, that's very much manifestor that she's describing. Manifestor with a 3-5 profile and everything. So I thought that was really funny.
I love this. I love hearing all the little like 3-5 minglings and stuff. I'm like, oh my God, I relate to everything you're saying. The next one we have is fun and extraordinary.
yeah.
That's definitely me when it comes to birthday celebrations. I go all out for family birthday celebrations. I want to make sure that they have the absolute best birthday. They get their favorite cake, their favorite dinner, whatever it is that they want to do, they get to choose. I do everything and anything to kind of match that individual's personality and just kind of really celebrate, because I think it's very important for people to be acknowledged and celebrated for who they are and the gifts that they bring into this world. So that's my fun and extraordinary kind of celebration. We do lots of fun things with my 2 children when it comes to their birthday, and my husband too. But
well,
I love that. I feel like I definitely place a very heavy importance on birthdays, and not just mine, like people's birthdays, exactly how you said it, in the sense of like, there's just something about celebrating others and like really like helping them acknowledge like you were born today.
Yes.
Like this is your day and you made it a whole other 365.
yes.
Like, and so I completely resonate with that. And I've recognized that like to me, I almost get a little sad when I meet somebody that doesn't care for their birthday. It's like I almost need to make them care
right.
for their
I know. Well, it's that, experience like in me that just goes, well, come on, let's, we can do this and we can do that. And I can make your birthday a lot of fun. And they just want like a quiet night at home. And I mean, that's everybody's unique choice. But I totally agree with you, because I'm like, I could think of 100 things we could do today.
Right. No, 100% that.
It's a very 3-5 thing to say. We could, knowing all the, and just ready to jump and hey, let's do something. Let's not just sit around here and 100%. Be miserable.
Oh, it's so that I've actually been told recently by somebody, and I should look up her human design type actually to like figure out the pattern there. But I was told how like you can't just sit still. Like you need to do something with your time all the time, and you can't just let it be. And my response to that was like, well, I only have so much time on earth. Why would I just let it be? Like
I gotta
I need to do something with the time.
I feel like the next one is really perfect. It's navigate challenges lightly.
Yeah.
I feel like that's everything what we all just shared.
Pivot on a dime. Like, oh, we're going this way now? Okay. No worries. Let's go.
Oh, this is what we're doing now? Yeah. That's definitely a thing.
That is literally my profile. Problem solver. I like constantly solve problems. And, when it was me starting a business and trying to figure out a lot of my coaches and everywhere, what to start a business, it's what problem do you solve? What problem do you solve? And I'm like, what you focus on, you create more of. I'm like, let's focus on what solutions do I offer, not this problem solving stuff. Because I just felt like I kept getting more and more problems to solve. And I'm like, I'm tired of problems. I'm like, so I had to flip my mindset a little bit and go, okay, what solutions do I offer? What value do I provide instead of this like just question of constantly problem solving?
I feel like that also matches with the next one, which is avoid societal drama.
No.
I don't know about that one.
See, this is where my nodes come into play. I have 6 to 36 nodes. If you know your gates.
Oh, me, I have the same ones.
That's friction and conflict. That's my design nodes, though.
I got them on both.
Oh, so
Yeah, I got fifth line on one and then first line on the other. So
and that's constant change in your environment, and it's friction. There's sex in the environment because the channel of mating's there with the 6, open and closed. I'm in the middle of shit shows. In fact, I'm designed to be in the middle of shit shows as a peacemaker. No, I don't avoid societal drama. I can't help but get sucked into it most of the time. But it's correct for me. So
that's a good like clarification, and it's like so neat too when we do this, because it's like we'll see the stuff that we're similar on with the 3-5, and then you see like the manifestors got this stuff and the generators got this stuff, and then you're like, well, what about nodes? So it's like I feel like they're like different lenses and prisms to then like get into our nuances. I love it so much.
Well, nodes are like, they're not real things, remember? They're not even real objects. They're like points on a map, so they point. So if you just remember that they provide direction in life, so they're a little bit different.
I love it too. Share your journey is the next one, which I think we're all very like sharing of all our fun little journeys.
That's the 5.
Yeah, I built a whole brand off of sharing my journey, and it's funny because like
that's what it's about. Personal branding.
Exactly. No, exactly. When you were talking about that, I was like, oh, you and I will get along. But yeah, and it's funny because when I started it though, like I knew it was going to be a brand, but I specifically was talking to people I personally knew so that I can completely change my identity. So I got super personal. I would like share stories about my journey that like definitely had consequences in my personal life, but it's like I did it for the consequences. And that's the interesting part, I feel like, is like I cared more about sharing my journey than about the consequences that would come out of it. And I almost was thrilled by the consequences because it's like I'm forcing you to think different. I'm forcing you to like have a conversation about this and like figure out like why would somebody put all this out there for the world,
That's cool.
That's awesome. I was going to say my business literally has been that's literally how it started. It has evolved into a lot of different iterations at this point. But it literally started because from my own personal experience and me having to go through certain things and realizing, oh, what does not work? And then like creating a path for others. So I started as a personal trainer, and then I got into hypnosis and subconscious reprogramming. And then I moved into natural graduation. It was a natural process to work with entrepreneurs, but it was all based off of my own personal journey and experience. And that literally, I feel like, is what attracts a lot of people to me, is like when I just share my personal journey. I know that manifestor probably has part to do with it as well. But yeah, that definitely resonates with me, is like the whole sharing of journey. But also I think included in that is like, for me at least, I don't know if other 3-5s feel this way, but when I teach something, I feel like I have to experience it first and to really understand it. Like I can't just read something and be like, oh yeah, like some people understand, but for me, I have to experience it myself. And that's actually one of the reasons why I decided to go into like a bodybuilding competition, because I used to work with them. And I was like, I don't really understand what you're feeling, so let me just try this myself. And then I was able to coach them deeper. But I think that has been definitely a big part of my journey, is like I have to experience it as well.
It's so perfect. The next one is literally balance, exploration, and leadership. It's you. It's more for the conversation.
Okay. What do I win? I'm kidding.
We're all winners here.
Of course.
It's all a big ruse. We really are just playing this game just so we can see how everyone reacts.
I love
You found us out.
This was a really good way to start conversation.